Mr. Siomunji, you may proceed.
I'm indebted to the court, my lord. Good afternoon, Mr. Kanyanga.
Afternoon.
Yeah, we are continuing from where we left off. I'll start with the segment of Berg Street. The incident of 13 December 2019. Just to get the ball rolling, I believe it was your testimony that you were not present.
That's correct.
This incident, okay?
It's 13 December
Yes, my lord, 13 December 2019.
2019. Yes.
Now, so what you testified is what you were informed by your colleagues.
So what is in their statement?
So what is, okay? Yeah, so from what you testified, you said second applicant was removing certain documents which are linked to the case.
Correct, that was on the 14th, not the 13th.
Was it the 14th?
Correct.
Okay, my apologies. Thank you for the correction. So 14 December 2019.
That's correct.
Now, concerning what you indicated, first of all, you started with the issue of the keys. Did applicant have keys of the residence of Mr. Shangala on that day, 14 December 2019?
According to the statement, there's none which is indicating that he was in possession of the key.
Okay. According to your investigations, did he at any time have keys of the residence? That house?
I did
That
not
is-
investigate that.
You didn't?
No.
Okay. Because it's my instruction from the second applicant, and what he testified is that he never had keys of the house. He only had a remote control of the garage.
But what is one of the statement of those who were there? They have indicated that he went to remove some. It seems I put the thing in one.
Okay. No, we'll get there to the issue of what was allegedly
No,
removed.
the case I was now trying to refer to is the one of Bernhardt Esau. On
Okay.
this one, there's nothing that says he was having a key to Shangala's house.
Okay. Because in fact, it was his testimony that he went there on that day as per instructions given to him, because he was given instructions to set up an office for Mr. Shangala and not to set up an office that night. I'm emphasizing on saying that night because it was your testimony that one of the things you said was that how was he going to set up an office at night? You recall that?
Yes, I recall.
Is that what you were told, that applicant indicated that he was going to set up an office at night?
No, what was told is that he was taking the documents to his house.
No, but you did mention, I'll get to the issue of that you said the house, but you said the instructions were that what he told the officials or the officers was that he was going to set up an office at night. And you were asking, why should he set up an office at night? You recall, you said something to that effect.
I said something based on the thing that was put to me by the prosecution.
Okay. Yeah, but it was never put to applicant when he testified that.
Maybe, sorry, Mr. Siomunji.
Pardon me, my lord.
Was the evidence not that when it was suggested or put to him that he was taking the documents to set up the office, that's when he responded to say, how is it possible that he was going to set up an office during the night?
Indeed, so.
In other words, he's just simply commenting on that, not to say that he is either informed. I'll just verify with him so that you proceed on the correct facts, and it may assist you as well.
May it please the court?
Yes. Mr. Kanyangela, what is your evidence? Because it's not very clear now whether you were informed that.
I
yes.
answered to that after it was narrated to me by the prosecution, by Mr. Ipinge.
Okay.
When he was telling me what the applicant is saying.
All right.
So are you saying that you were told by my learned colleague that the setting up of the office was going to be at night and that's what you committed on?
He said, according to the testimony of the applicant, he said he was going to put up an office. Then I say, what was narrated to me, or what is in the statement, is that he told the officers that he was taking the documents to his house.
Okay. Okay, let's get there. It was never put to the applicant that one of the officers who was present on that day, 14 December 2019, gave a statement and said that he was taking those documents to his house on that day. That those are the words that were uttered by the applicant. Would you know why that was not put to the applicant?
I don't know.
It's in the statements and that is what he allegedly told those officers.
I don't know why it was not put to him.
I put it to you because it's not true.
To me, it is true.
If it was true that indeed those are the words he uttered, that he was going to take the bags with the documents to his house, then that would have been put to him.
It's something that is in the statements of those who were present, and I agree with their statement.
So did you communicate that same position of what was indicated in those statements concerning that aspect of the applicant taking those documents to his house? Did you communicate that to my learned colleague in your consultations, as in your version that should be put to the applicant?
It is in the statement, and he read also the statements.
Okay. But what I'm saying on record is it was never put to the applicant.
That is asked and answered, my lord. Can we move on from that?
My lord, I am moving on. Okay. My learned colleague will have his bite at the cherry in re-examination.
Okay.
Now, if that is the case, why wasn't the applicant asked, or whether was the applicant asked further why he was taking those documents to his house? I'm talking about the same incident of 14 December 2019.
What he answered to say that he was taking the document to his house is because he was asked as to where he's taking the document. That's why he's taking the document.
Mr. Kanyangela, obviously I take cognizance and I sympathize with you. You are not there.
That's correct.
Yes, but I'm sure logic dictates. If a person is caught with documents that you claim are related to the case, and they say they were taking those documents to their house, surely it should follow that you should ask them why they are doing that. I'm sure you agree with me that it's only logical to ask why are you taking those documents to your house?
Yes, it's logical, yes.
Yes.
And I
So
don't know whether such a question was put to him.
I am glad you agreed with me. So didn't you have an opportunity to ask your colleagues, apart from what is in their statements, if they asked him why he was taking those
No,
documents?
I never asked them.
Yes, I put it to you that because it doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense
Yes,
to me.
because if a person is caught with documents and they say, I'm taking them to my house, what should follow logically is why they are doing that. So let's get to the issue of these, what was in those bags. It was applicant's testimony
Mr.
that...
Siomunji, sorry again. Is it your evidence to say that he was not asked as to why he was taking the documents? Or you are not aware whether he was asked? I did not hear.
What
your
I
reply.
am aware of is that he was asked as to where he is taking the document.
Yes.
He indicated
To
he
his
is taking the
house.
document to his house.
It ends there.
Yes.
Okay. You may proceed.
May it please the court. Now, let's get to the issue of these documents. It was applicant's testimony that there were 2 bags of Mr. Shangala that he was requested to take, amongst other things, like a computer monitor and a power supply. That he was tasked to take these to set up a new office at Hanganeni. That was his testimony.
I can confirm there were bags in the monitor, yes.
Okay. Now, let's look at the issue of the contents of these bags. First of all, applicant indicated that he did not know the contents of those bags because he never opened them. He was just following the instruction. Do you have a comment on that?
I tend to disagree with that.
Please state why you disagree.
Why I disagree is that on that date, the applicant went to visit Shangala at CA's police station. And it was after that when he came to remove, it's on the same date when he came to remove those documents.
Mr. Kanyangela, if you are with your Director General today and he instructs you to carry his briefcase from point A to point B, does it follow that just because you carried the briefcase, you would know what is inside?
There is a difference between carrying and collecting.
Obviously, one would collect and then they would carry, isn't it?
Yes?
Yes. So, if you are instructed by your Director General, go to my office, there is my briefcase, collect it, carry it and take it to my house. You comply with the lawful instructions of your Director General.
That's correct.
Would it naturally follow that you would know what is in the briefcase?
No.
Just because you carried out?
No.
That's exactly my point, sir. So on what basis are you saying with certainty that just because applicant carried the bags, he knew what was in the bags?
Not all the documents were in the bag. There were some that were not in the bags.
What documents were not in the bags?
I cannot identify now which ones, but not all the documents were in the bag.
Well, if that is your version, that was never put to the applicant. That not all documents were in the bag. There were some documents that were maybe in other places. That was not put to the applicant. Because all along, the applicant's testimony was that he carried 2 bags. And there are certain things that were discovered in the bags. But it was never put to him that not all documents were in the bags.
I don't know why it was not put to him.
No, you should know, sir, because you are the lead investigator. You know, you give a version to your mouthpiece, who is my learned colleague.
But I say, I don't know why it was not put to him.
I put it to you that it was not put to him because that was not the case. Surely, if we are dealing with issue of documents, and not all the documents were in the bags, surely that version should have been put to him to give him an opportunity to answer thereto.
If it was not put to him, I told you, I don't know why it was not put to him.
Fair enough. No, I'm not faulting you, sir.
Yes.
And I'm not saying you must answer. I'm saying it should have been put to him because that is court procedure. Now, sir, I want to give you this document. My lord, I'm referring to UU46,
Okay.
the photo plan. Now, that's marked as Exhibit UU46. You can go through it, but I'm sure you're familiar with it because obviously it comes from the disclosure that was
I'm
done.
familiar with it.
Yes. You can go through that, and that is the document that applicant went through, and he indicated that, first of all, on the said day, 14 December 2019, he was not shown what was removed from the bags. Of course, there was some list that he was told to sign, but he was not shown when things were being removed. But the point is, if you can go through that, I'm sure, since you are familiar with
Oh,
it.
there are some things that I could not see. We can just proceed.
Yes. So according to that, is what he testified on, and he said that because during the initial bail application, it was put to him by my learned colleague, Mr. Ipinge, that there are some sensitive documents, some intelligence communications that were found and that were linked to this case.
My Lord, I would like my learned friend to show where I said sensitive information or sensitive documents on record, because I clearly did not say that.
My Lord, I can read verbatim, but I'm paraphrasing.
Okay.
But what was indicated was that, what I can remember very well is that he said that there were intelligence related documents. So if you go through that, Mr. Kanyangela, I'm sure if you since you are familiar with that photo plan, I'm sure you agree with me that there is nothing intelligence related in those in that photo plan.
It depends on how you explain the word intelligence. Because for me, if a document is containing some information, you can pick something from that document.
Okay. Let's get there. Let's look at the dates. You can just roughly look at those dates.
Which one?
On documents, no, in the same photo plan. I'm sure you see they range from 2003, 2004. I'm sure at that time, as from what you indicated, the Namgoma case, you said it ranges from 2012 to 2012 and 2013, and
Yes.
the Fishrot case from 2014.
Yes.
Yes, these documents are 2003, 2004.
Yes.
Yes. So they do not relate to the period under investigation, isn't it?
Even if they not for that period, it can still provide us with some information
Okay.
that might be of assistance to us.
Look through the photo plan. That's why I asked for it to be given to you. What is it in that photo plan, UU46, that is related to this case? Or that provided you some certain kind of information related to this case?
There are banking informations. There are bank statements.
If you can indicate where, on which page is the bank statement, because I'm not aware of any bank statement in that photo plan.
Photo 36 to me is a bank statement.
A bank statement from which bank?
Sorry, it's not a bank statement, it's a tax invoice.
Exactly. So just make sure. You said there's bank statements. Indicate if there's any bank statement in that photo plan.
There is a document, photo 30.
What is that?
For Standard Bank.
Standard Bank, but what document is it?
I cannot read it, it's faint.
From what applicant testified, that is from Vehicle and Asset Finance. He read that into record.
It's a bank statement.
Vehicle
Even
and
if
Asset
it is-
Finance.
Even if it is from finance, vehicle financing, it's a bank statement.
Mr. Kanyangela, we went through that bank statement. That's why it is an exhibit before this court.
To me,
I mean-
it's a bank statement if it is coming from the vehicle asset.
Okay, so if it's a letter from Vehicle and Asset Finance Division of Standard Bank, does that constitute a bank statement? A
No.
letter?
No.
That's exact.
But this
Check
one is
through.
not a letter.
Check what that is. Can you indicate, read that into record, what that is?
I say I cannot read, it's faint. Unless you give me a clear one, then I can read.
But that is not a bank statement.
To me, it's a bank statement.
For the sake of...
Okay. And I think the question went further to sort of link the documents to the cases before court.
Indeed so.
How does he link that
May it please the court.
document?
How I link the document, as I said, it might provide evidence either to the asset the person is having or she purchased through a bank. Either it gives us the account number, it's a certain bank on which we have to make a follow-up on the account. That is how we say they were important to us.
Mr. Kanyangela, remember in the rules of engagement indicated that we don't want you to speculate. We want a definite answer, and especially at this juncture, when you said that investigations are done. So I wouldn't expect you at this point to say it might lead to this.
I have a way of answering,
Yes.
and I don't want you to dictate me how to answer.
I am not dictating to you, but then I put it to you that you are speculating.
Maybe you can take it that way, but
Yes,
you cannot direct me what to answer.
No, I'm not directing you.
Yes.
That's why I outlined, sir, the rules of engagement. Even this court wouldn't want you to speculate. Either you know something or you don't, or you can even totally refuse to answer the question.
I explained as to why I said this document is important to us.
Indeed, so that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. Then it's fine. My closing point on that, I put it to you that clearly you cannot answer with certainty because you have no link between what is in UU46 and this case. That's why you are saying it might be at this juncture when investigations are done.
You can take it like that.
Fair enough. I'll argue as such. Officer, if you can just give me my exhibit. Now, moving on, my learned colleague disclosed certain documents that he claimed that were also found with the applicant on the date in question, 14 December 2019. Just want to refer you to some of them. If you can just identify this document, Mr. Kanyangel.
It's a letter on the letterhead of NAMSOF.
Okay. What are the contents of that letter? Or what is the heading?
Additional horse mackerel quota, NAMSOF Fishing Enterprises Pty Limited.
Who is it addressed to?
To the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources.
Okay, so it's a letter from NAMSOF to the PS of Fisheries.
Yes.
What is the date of that letter?
24 November 2003.
Okay. I'm sure you agree with me that right holders can write a letter to the PS to request for additional quotas, isn't it?
Yes, they can.
They can.
Yes.
Now, what is secretive about such a letter from NAMSOF, dated from 2004?
I don't know whether there's something secretive.
Okay. No, I'm just asking. I'm not suggesting to you that it's secretive because it was indicated that there's certain intelligence documents. This is a letter from NAMSOF dated 2004 requesting for additional quota, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. You agree with me there's nothing secretive about it?
There's nothing secretive, but to us, or to me, it can still provide information with regarding to the investigation.
It
that I'm
can,
doing.
and you see that's where I have a problem when at this juncture you say it can.
Yes.
Now that particular letter, at this point, what information did it provide and how is it linked to this case?
No, the information that is in
Request for additional
is
quota.
it is requesting additional quotas, but those additional quotas, they were being requested for Hanganeni Investment Holding to be a shareholder in NAMSOF.
Yes.
This to me is just an indication that yes, these people, the owners of Hanganeni, they were, since 2003, they were interested to have access to quarters.
Is there anything wrong?
There's nothing wrong.
Thank you. And I'm sure that letter, you already indicated it's not a secret letter, isn't it?
Cannot be a secret letter.
Okay. Please have a look at the next letter. It's exhibit VV4. If you can just identify that letter and indicate who the author of that letter is and who it's addressed to.
The author is Mr. John Arnott, the managing director of NAMSOF, which means the letter came from NAMSOF.
From NAMSOF. And what is the heading of that letter?
Additional horse mackerel quota.
Okay, similar to VV3 that we dealt with. Okay.
Yes.
Anything secretive about that?
There's nothing secretive.
Okay. I'm sure such kind of a letter you can obtain it if you want, isn't it? You said it's addressed to the permanent secretary.
If I could know that there was such a letter.
Yes, but there's nothing secretive about it, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Officer, so if you can just look at, just want to give you another letter. VV5. What does that say, sir?
It's notes as discussed with Hanganeni.
Who wrote those notes?
It's no name of any person who wrote it.
Okay. What notes has? But if you can just read even the first paragraph, what does it relate with?
Clear the air regarding bad faith. GA addressed the perceived bad faith displayed by NAMSOF in the eyes of Hanganeni.
Okay.
GA explained that nothing materialized after 8 months.
And who is GA?
John Arnold.
Okay, so that is the managing director of NAMSOF as per the other letter.
That's correct.
Okay. So is there anything secretive about that?
There is nothing secretive.
Okay. It's fine. Officer? There's another document, VV8. I'm just handing up to you. If you can just identify that document.
It's a certificate of registration in respect of a motor vehicle.
Okay, and in what vehicle is it, and in whose name is it registered?
It's a Mercedes-Benz registered in the name of Shanghala Set.
Which year is it registered?
1983. Date of library registration. The first licensing was 1983, then came a licensing 2014,
Okay.
February.
So I'm sure you agree with me that a NATIS document is a public document, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yes. Nothing secretive about it.
Yes.
If one wants to find out, if I want to find out how many cars you own, I go to NATIS. If they're under your name, I'll be able to get that information, isn't it?
That's correct.
Okay. Officer? Now, the reason why I presented those documents to you, because these are the documents that were presented to the applicant, and it was indicated to him that these are additional documents apart from photo plan UU46 that were found in the bags.
But that photo plan, to me, it did not indicate all the documents that were found in possession of the applicant. I see there are some which are not there.
You see,
They were found with the applicant, but they are not on the photo plan.
the point I'm making is there is the photo plan,
Yes.
which is what the applicant testified on, and he said there is nothing linking, with the documents found that are depicted in the photo plan with the case. And he was provided with these additional documents that I just presented to you. These are the other documents that he was found with.
The other documents that he was found with, he saw the documents were listed, and he signed for them.
And for that, I'll object that the question is misleading. It was not said that those are the documents in totality. He was given a list which is VV2, which is 2 pages 3 pages indicating all the documents he was found with. And then certain obviously for the bail application, we are not bringing everything. So some were given to him in court. And my learned friend, even now in court, is jumping one of the most important documents that was given to the applicant also. I don't know for what reason, to further mislead the witness.
But is he indicating that
He's
it's
saying
all the documents?
yes,
Because
he's saying the ones in the photo plan
Yeah.
and the additional ones that were given, those are the only documents. That's what he's making
No, I
it
thought
seem.
he's saying there were the documents in the photo plan, and then there were those additional ones which he took Mr. Kanyangela on.
Yes.
That's how I understood him, Mr. Siomunji.
Yes.
Please, the court.
So,
My lord,
Okay.
my learned
Are you
colleague.
done?
no.
Okay,
That's all I'm
let me
saying.
just allow
He's
him.
creating the impression that those documents that were given to the applicant in court are the only further documents apart from those in the photo plan, which is not the case. Because the whole list, the whole list was provided as VV2.
Okay, I hear you.
Yes.
I should just indicate that it did not really register as such to
Yes.
me, like
Yes.
they
only.
constituted all the documents.
Okay.
My lord.
But let me just hear.
My learned colleague should have listened attentively in the beginning when I said the applicant was provided with a list which he signed, although he was not shown the documents, but he was provided with a list and he signed it. I didn't say these are the only documents. I said what the applicant testified on in his evidence in chief was the photo plan, UU46.
Okay.
And then there were some other additional documents that he was provided with. And this is the bundle from the respondents. These are the ones that I presented. I didn't say all of them.
Yes.
I just took a sample. And I know the one that he's talking about is the documents for Omolo Trust. That is what he's hinting at. And I'm getting there.
Okay. Now it's quite clear now.
May it please the court.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Kanyangela, Omolo Trust, you indicated that it's one of the entities that received money. Is it from Fishco or Namgoma scheme?
From both.
From both. Okay. Now, documents, trust documents. I'm sure you agree with me that if you want to get documents of a trust, you can go to Master of High Court.
That's correct.
Yes. They are public documents you can get, isn't it?
You can get
Yes.
them, yes.
Nothing secretive. So if already from your analysis of the bank statements, particularly the report from Deloitte, you already saw where the money went. One of the entities was Omolo Trust.
That's correct.
If you want to get the documents of Omolo Trust, it's a matter of just going to Master of High Court, isn't it? I'm talking about Omolo Trust, the trust.
You can go there.
Yes.
But if I went for a search and I found a similar document, I can still take that document.
I agree with you. But my point is, if from the report of Deloitte you saw one of the entities is Omolo Trust,
Yes.
if you don't have the trust documents of Omolo Trust and you want to get them, you can just go to Master of High Court and get them, isn't it?
You are correct.
Yes. So nothing secretive about it. So now, it was put to the applicant, these are the documents, inclusive of Omolo Trust, that were selected by my learned colleague and presented to him and said, these are some of the documents that were also found with him. And he indicated he had no knowledge of those documents.
But he signed for them.
He signed, yes, he did indicate that he was given a whole list.
How we are doing our list, if you are conducting a search, we go document by document, we list the document. After we are done, we do it in the presence of the person from whom the documents are being seized. After they are done, then is when he have to sign.
That's the procedure, isn't it?
Yes,
But on that day you were not there, isn't it?
I was not there.
Yes, so you cannot say, indeed, the procedure was complied with to the letter on that day, because you are not there, isn't it?
Yes, but
Yes.
it is what is in the statement. To say, yes, these documents were seized, the applicant was present when the document was seized, they go through the documents,
With the applicant.
he signed the documents.
Okay. That version was not put to the applicant. That they went through each and every one of the items with the applicant, and after that he signed for them. Applicant's testimony was that he was not present when they were going through the documents, but they presented a list to him and he signed. It was not challenged. So if that was the case, it should have been put to him in cross-examination to challenge his evidence.
Understood. You can proceed.
May it please the court. So, just a closing point on that. Looking at all the documents together, UU46 and these additional documents, I'm sure you already indicated there's nothing secretive about all those documents. Isn't it?
Yes.
Now, on the said date, 14 December 2019, stemming from the same incident of Berg Street, do you know the charges that the applicant faced when he was charged? Stemming from that same incident.
I cannot recall as to what were the charges.
If you can just look at Exhibit VV1 and just identify the document.
The document is a warning statement. Namibian police, they are calling it Pol 17.
Okay. Is there any CR number on that warning statement?
Just correct.
What is the CR number?
It is a Windhoek CR number 659 of November 2019.
Is that the only CR number on that same document? I mean, if you look at it
On
from
the,
where you are
front,
reading,
on the front page, it's only one CR number.
is it one or there are two?
No, that one is a OB number. OB number.
Okay, one CR number 659. What are the charges?
659 11 2019.
What are the charges?
The charges is defeating the course of justice at 13 Berg Street by removing evidence in criminal case. Another charge is contravening Section 46 of AAC Act 8 of 2003, conspire to commit corruption.
Does it indicate what corruption is this?
It's not indicating.
Is that procedural? That it should be vague? I'm talking about the Pol 17. Is it procedural that it should be vague? Like they just say corruption?
It is not vague because there is a section that has been given there. You cannot say it's vague.
What does Section 46 that is indicated there say?
It's conspiring.
Conspiring to commit an offense.
Yes.
What offense?
The one that had been mentioned there.
So he was conspiring to commit obstruction.
Yes, he conspired with Shangala.
He conspired with Shangala.
Yes.
What evidence do you have that he conspired with Shangala? Based on what you testified about that day, you said officers went there. There's information that you got that on the same day he went to see Mr. Shangala and he carried 2 bags. What evidence do you have that he indeed conspired with Mr. Shangala on that day?
He conspired because he said he was removing the documents based on the instruction given to him. And that is also what you have told the court here.
Lawful instructions by his employer, isn't it?
I don't know whether it was lawful or unlawful.
What was unlawful? I'll give you the same example. Your director general, as your superior, asked you to remove a briefcase from his office and take it to his house?
It depends what intent you are having.
Okay, what intent did Mr. Shangala have?
Was to hide the documents.
Hide documents which are not secretive documents from what you testified? What is the purpose of...
There was not only those documents of which are public. There were also others which are not public.
Which are the other documents which are not there? Because we produced UU46, the photo plan. My learned colleague selected those ones that I presented you with, inclusive of the documents of Omolo Trust, which you all said all those documents are not secretive documents. Which
Yes.
other documents?
Those were on the list. Unless you have to go through the list comparing all the documents that was found with
Mr.
them.
Kanyangela, I put it to you that if there was any secretive document, if there was any sensitive document, if there was any intelligence-related document, those are the documents that would have been produced by my learned colleague in cross-examination of the applicant to show him that ABCD documents are sensitive documents, are secretive documents, or they are intelligence documents. They would have.
I don't know why they were not provided.
Because, I'll tell you why. I put it to you, it's because, as you testified, none of those documents are secretive documents. None of those documents are intelligence documents.
That is your conclusion.
Exactly, and I'll argue as such, because you failed to prove me otherwise. So as at that day, there was no corruption.
Conspiring is part of corruption.
Is it? Okay, now conspiring to...
That's why we are having an Anti-Corruption Act.
Okay. But you said conspiring now to commit
And it is
obstruction.
part of it.
There was no money laundering on that day.
On that day.
The charge of money laundering was not present on that day.
I don't know whether it was there because I was not the one who charged this person. And I was not the one who was investigating his case.
The charge of racketeering was not on that day.
Even if it was not there, charges can still be added on.
I didn't, Mr. Kanyangela, we outlined the rules of engagement. Answer my question. I didn't ask you why it was not there. I'm just asking whether it was present on that day or not.
I have already answered you that I was not the one who was charging that person, and I was not the one who was investigating this case.
But you are the lead investigator and you are standing in your capacity as the lead investigator in this case.
Yes.
So you should be able to answer the questions. I'm not asking you
The
untoward
lead
questions.
investigator. I was a lead investigator in 2 cases, of which this one was not part of it. It was being investigated specifically by another person. I was having 2 cases, Nangoma and Fishrot cases.
Let's get there. Namgoma case. You said you got your information mostly from Johannes Stephenson.
Yes, correct?
Okay. So that is your main witness or your star witness.
It's a main witness.
Okay. Now, you said the Namgoma scheme emanates from 2012, 2013.
Yes?
Yes. Okay. Where was the applicant in 2012 and 2013?
I don't know where he was.
Okay. For your information, he testified that he was working for Ministry of Justice.
I know he was working there, but I don't know when he started.
Okay. Now, did Mr. Johannes Stephenson even once mention the name of Nigel Van Wyk?
He never mentioned him.
Do you have any statement or any document showing that he was part of the planning or the syndicate as you indicated, or any meetings, allocation of quotas, or anything to that effect pertaining to the Namgoma case?
There's no statement, but there's documentations.
We'll get there. I started with statements.
Yes. There's no statement.
Fine.
The only statement that could be there is for the investigating officer.
We'll get there. The court can just bear with me. This is from the bundle that was disclosed by the state. I'm looking at the Deloitte report. What you already outlined, I'll not ask you to go through it. But you are saying Mr. Van Wyk got almost 2 million.
That's correct.
Okay. How is that almost 2 million, 1.9 million something? How is it broken down? If you know.
How it was broken down is only as is indicated in the bank statement, indicating as from the Deloitte report, indicating as how much did he get from the entity or from a person who make a deposit in his personal account.
Okay, we'll get there. I just want to refer you to Exhibit SS. You can just identify that.
So, memorandum of agreement, employment entered into by and between Olea Investment Number 9CC
And who?
and Nigel Van Wyk.
Okay, the applicant, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay. So that is basically an employment contract. You agree?
I agree.
Okay. What does point 4 of that contract say?
Scope of duties. During the employment period, the employee shall be employed as general manager, as well as such other duties and responsibilities which might be assigned to him by the members. The employee shall perform such a service in good faith and comply with all rules, regulations, and policies established or issued by the company.
Okay. Now, if you turn almost towards the back, who are the members of this CC?
The members, okay, on this one, there's only James Hatikulipi, but the other member is Mr. Saki Shanghala.
Okay. Thank you. So, you agree with me now, we've established that Mr. Van Wyk, the applicant, was an employee of Olea, investment number 9CC.
He was an employee, yes.
What date is indicated on that contract of employment?
The 28th of September 2017.
But when is the employment to commence?
My Lord, for the time's sake, the document is before court. It speaks for itself. If there's any questions relating to the document, maybe my learned friend can just go straight to that. I mean, the document was submitted. There was no objections to the document being handed up. It's not necessary for us to read the document to the record again.
Okay.
My Lord, the purpose of objections is that they must be sound in law. I did not ask this witness to read the document into record. I'm referring him to certain aspects of it.
Yes.
When my
I
learned
also-
colleague was reading evidence, Your Lordship, I didn't interrupt him.
Yes, I accept that. I also just take it like as a suggestion to say the document is with everyone and it's not really disputed. But you may deal with
May I please the court?
however
My Lord, I'll go to it.
you prefer.
Can you dispute that what applicant testified that he started work at Olia Investment number 9CC on 1st November 2017?
I'm not disputing that.
Okay. So you read out the scope of duties. Those
Yes,
to
I
carry out lawful duties as assigned by the members of the CC, being Mr. Saki Shangala and Mr. James Hatukulipi.
That's correct.
Okay. Now,
So he was to commence in 2019.
2017.
2017.
1 November 2017.
Is it not dated 2018, according to what he said? 28 September 2018. What is the date you said? The employment contract is
Is the
dated?
date when the contract was signed?
Is when?
It's 28 September 2017.
Or 2017?
May it please the court.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Kanyangela, you yourself, you are an employee of Anti-Corruption Commission, isn't it?
That's correct.
Okay. Obviously, Anti-Corruption Commission receives its funding from central government, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah. You get paid from Ministry of Finance, basically.
That's correct.
Yes. Now, have you ever questioned where Ministry of Finance gets its source of funding to enable to you get your salary every
My
month?
Lord, what is the relevance of these questions?
My
There's
Lord,
no
the relevance.
relevance to this quick case.
Okay. My Lord, of course, if one keeps jumping up, they will not get the relevance. My learned colleague should hold his horses and listen to where I'm getting at. That's when he'll see the relevance. Okay.
My Lord, we don't need to deal with irrelevant things to get to the relevant. We can just go to the relevant stuff so that we spare time. It's unnecessary to ask Mr. Kanyangela about his employment. That is not what we are here for. If it's about Nigel Van Wyk's employment, we get to Nigel Van Wyk's employment.
Well, yes, that's well.
May it please the court. My Lord, I'll totally ignore that because for me, that is not an objection. My learned colleague had his chance. That's how he chooses to do his things. That is prerogative. My prerogative, I do things the way I deem fit. If you can just sit down, relax. If there's a logical objection, that's when you should get up.
What do you make of the fact that the questions will now center on Mr. Kanyangela and his employment?
My Lord, it's just an example, and I'm not...
Yes, and I take it.
I'm not stretching
it's
it.
very relevant, and you may want to highlight something, but I wouldn't advise that we deviate so much unless it's necessary. For instance, if he tends to dispute or contradict what you are likely to put or what you are going to put to him about the employment of the second applicant, then perhaps the example may be used just to illustrate.
My Lord, I'm getting there, and I'm not stressing the point about Mr. Kanyangela's employment, but it's something that he indicated in his evidence in chief concerning the employment and the issue of the source of funds of the applicant.
All right, let me hear how this goes.
Mr. Kanyangela, before I was interrupted, I was asking you, have you ever asked the source of funding from which you receive your salary?
If anything that have to be investigated concerning my salary, that can be questioned.
No, I'm talking about you. Just normally,
If there is any investigation.
But you've never asked?
No.
Okay. Now, you made a certain comment in evidence in chief. You said, just the fact that Mr. Nigel Van Wyk, because he was employed by Olia Investment number 9CC, he should have known that the money that he was receiving was from an illicit source. You said he should have known. That's what you said.
He should have known because it was not only Olia who was paying money into his personal account. There were other entities in which he is not employed.
On the instruction of the members of his CC.
I never saw such instruction.
Okay. No, we'll get there. So, in the same way, I put it to you, sir, before we go deep into it. The same way that you wouldn't question your employers, where Ministry of Finance gets its money, the same way an employee in the name of Mr. Nigel Van Wyk wouldn't question.
I was not investigating my employer.
Neither was Nigel Van Wyk investigating his employer.
But to see just money coming into your account, and you know that this money is not from my employer.
For your information, it seems, Mr. Kanyangela, it seems you are not given certain information, but let's get there. There was a breakdown of funds and documentation that was given to this court. The exhibits start from UU1, UU2, UU3, going on. I'll give you the two files. Officer? These are the two files that were presented before this court through Mr. Nigel Van Wyk, and he accounted for all the money that he received in the over 2 years, the time period of this investigation. That is, which relates to him.
Yes.
He provided their receipts. There's all the documentation backing up each amount that he received. Did you ever see these files?
I did not saw the files.
Okay. Then one wonders why you didn't see the files, because we provided it as an exhibit before this court. We also provided the same files to my learned colleague. So if he didn't show you those files in consultation, well, that is your own baby, but we provided them.
Just repeat the exhibit number.
My lord, there are many, but it starts from UU1.
Oh, it's all UU.
Yes,
Okay.
my lord.
No, I'm aware of the documents.
So, and of this amount, this almost 2 million, 1.9, I think 940,000. So that was indicated, which I'm sure you agree with me if you look at your disclosure, the report. The court can just bear with me. If you look at page 403 of the Deloitte report, I'm sure that's the amount that we are talking about, isn't it? 403?
That's correct.
$1,943,314. Are you aware that about 713,000 of that amount was the salary of the applicant?
I'm not aware because I could only see in the bank statement there was only one amount which is indicating that it was a salary, which is an amount of 60,000.
You are not aware, but now you should be aware.
I never saw the documents.
Well, that's why I'm saying that is your own baby as the respondents, because if your case is not coordinated, it's neither my fault nor this court's. The purpose of handing over those documents was that for the respondents, all of you inclusive, you go through the documents.
If it was a salary, then it must be indicated as such.
And that is exactly what is indicated, because even the bank statement of Mr. Van Wyk was also disclosed. He indicated where it's salary. And that's why I'm telling you that 713,000 of that amount, that 1,940,000, was the salary for the over 2-year period. And the rest of the amount, each and every cent is accounted for. If you are not aware, now you are aware.
I don't know which bank statement you are referring, but the one I'm having, I said there's only one amount that I saw saying salary.
That is why I'm telling Mr. Kajangela, it seems whatever, I don't want to talk about your consultation, but it seems things are fragmented. There were two statements that Mr. Van Wyk testified, I mean, two bank statements he testified about, FNB and Bank Windhoek. And those were handed up and those were broken down where it's indicated clearly what is salary, what is petty cash, and everything else. And that's why I'm telling you that everything has been accounted for. That's why I've asked for these 2 files to be given to you. And those same 2 files were provided.
My Lord, I've allowed this line of questioning. The court will have the record where Mr. Nigel Van Wyk was cross-examined on the payments. For instance, at page 888, where he was taken to task with regards to 100,005 that was paid to him with a reflection on Kwaita. The witness or the applicant himself could not account what this money was used for whose benefit this amount was used for. Now to come to court and put to the witness that every little dollar was accounted for, while the witness on record himself admitted to not having accounted for certain amounts, that is a misleading question, and it should not be allowed further.
Okay.
My Lord,
Thank
my
you.
learned colleague knows court procedure. If he's disputing what I'm saying, he'll have his second bite at the cherry in re-examination. That 100,000, Mr. Van Wyk on record said, it must have been for something that, he was assigned to do. He explained it. He was taken to task on it. He was even asked, what does the name Kwaita mean? And he even indicated that that is his other name, his nickname that is called. He did explain that. So whatever my learned colleague is disputing, he'll have a chance in re-examination. He seems to be in a hurry. He should hold his horses.
My Lord, just in response, I'm talking about what Mr. Nigel Van Wyk said on record. I cannot clarify that with Mr. Kanyangela in re-examination. If this question is allowed to mislead Mr. Kanyangela, it doesn't help us because it's not practice that I must now give Mr. Kanyangela the record so that he can clarify what was put to him misleadingly in cross-examination. That cannot be allowed. That is exactly what I'm going to. In fact, Mr. Nigel Van Wyk could not even say whether it was for his benefit or for the benefit of his directors and employees.
I take your
Yes.
objection. Certainly, Mr. Kanyangela, if he is not aware of what is being asked about, he can indicate to that extent. Because the other issue is these proceedings have been protracted, and I think the record of proceedings is voluminous. I'm not sure if all of you read it, but it's good that you have registered that, and I've taken note of that, and I'm still confident that even if further questions are asked, all that is expected, Mr. Kanyangela should simply answer or deal with the issues that he's well versed with. Those that he does not know, he simply says, I don't know. It either was not brought to my attention, as he indicated that he's not aware of the files. Because we wouldn't really have that opportunity to check through what exactly was said. But certainly I know that you questioned the applicant on some of those aspects. Yes. So this appears to be an issue where parties tend to hold different views, whereas Mr. Siomunji says that he managed to satisfactorily explain how the amount was utilized. You are also, on the other hand, saying that he actually struggled to do that. We take note of that.
As a complicity.
Yes. Please the court.
All right.
Mr. Kanyangela, you already indicated that you were never presented with these 2 files. Isn't it? Was the testimony of Mr. Van Wyk in his evidence in chief, was it conveyed to you that this is what he testified pertaining to these payments, and 713,000 indicated out of that 1.9 million was salary.
Not.
Exactly. So if that was not conveyed to you, how can anything else pertaining to payments have been conveyed to you? Moving on.
Maybe you had asked about, or you mentioned two bank accounts that were used, one Bank Windhoek and FNB.
Indeed, so my lord.
Are you aware of that?
For the FNB account, I'm not aware of it.
Okay. Were you informed by Mr. Ipinge that Mr. Nigel Van Wyk testified about an FNB account?
I was not informed.
I'll leave it there, my lord. Now, if you can just turn to page 170 of the Deloitte report. I think it's in that bundle, the bundle that was disclosed by the state. It's the thick file.
Yes.
Do
The last page.
Well, the bundle, oh, so my apologies. It's written 170 in Koki pen, but it's 347. 347 of the report.
While on that, Mr. Siomunji, Mr. Marontese, I'm not sure about this thick file. There were documents that we extracted, yes.
I forgot to ask for the rest of the files
To be returned.
ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
We
All right, you kindly hand it, Mr. Marontese. Yes, you may proceed.
May it please you, my lord. 347.
Maybe I don't have that bundle.
The thick one. You had it all along when you were being
Because
prosecuted.
the
It's the Deloitte report.
you said 347
347, yes.
written in Koki.
No. At the bottom, that is the original numbering, not in Koki. The Koki pen, what is written is 170, but it's written 347.
347.
Yes.
The bundle I'm having here, which is having a Deloitte report, 7344, then
It says Exhibit XX9.
SX9.
Yes.
Possible I don't have that one.
I'll just, officer, can just give him this bundle. Just turn to page 347.
Okay, I'm on that page.
I'm sure if you start from page 345, it says summary of identified transactions to persons or parties of interest linked to payments relevant to the subject matter under investigation, categorized per person of interest.
That's correct.
Now, if you look at page 347, what does it indicate under Mr. Nigel Van Wyk?
Under Nigel Van Wyk, it's indicating 0.
Okay. So in other words, as per this Deloitte report, he didn't receive any money as a person of interest in his personal capacity in terms of this report, isn't it?
On this page, but on the other pages, they indicate how much he received. It's the same report we are talking.
Sir, please answer what I asked
On this page, it's not indicated.
Yes. The other page, what is indicated is the 1,940,000, isn't it?
1,040,000.
1,940,000, almost
Yes.
2 million, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Yes. And I put it to you, that is what has been accounted for. So, in terms of his individual capacity, as per your own Deloitte report, he received nothing. But of course, from the other entities, in terms of his work, it's 1,940,000 that was received, of which 713,000 was his salary for that period.
I don't know why they put it as such, so they will be able to explain as to how they put the report in such a manner.
How can you not know, Mr. Kanyangela, as the lead investigator? You work for ACC. You are the one who tasked Deloitte to conduct that investigation.
Yes?
Yes.
As I said. Their part on this page, they did not indicate, but on the others, they indicate.
It indicates here in his personal capacity, so it says 0, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
The question has been asked, the question has been answered, and then it's repeated 3 times. We are not getting anywhere.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
My Lord, this is my cross-examination. My learned colleague will not dictate to me. So, sir, a closing point on that. Obviously, you are not aware. You are not at fault. Or rather, I will not put fault on you. The fact that these 2 bundles, these 2 files, were never presented to you, with the documents attached thereto, were never presented to you. But I put it to you that all these payments have been accounted for.
I did not go through the documents and through the files that you are referring
Yes, so you cannot dispute.
If there's proof of payment or purchases done, I can confirm, yes, he might have purchased on
And
behalf of his co-accused.
Mr. Kanyangela, just for your information, of course you were not in court that time, but we went through a laborious task of going through different invoices, different payments. And Mr. Van Wyk explained that with the attached documentation. We took time on that. That is why it's so shocking that it was never even brought to your attention.
You may proceed.
May it please the court. So, Mr. Kanyangela, how do you understand money laundering?
How I understand money laundering is that a person might get ill-gotten money into his account or money from a crime. It came into his account. He split that money to other accounts in order to conceal the originality of the money or to make it like it is genuine money in his account.
Okay. So would you agree with me that illegally concealing the origin of money obtained from illicit activities by converting it into a legitimate source, that is money laundering?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, so for you to commit money laundering, first of all, you must have known that the origin of the money is illicit or illegal, isn't it?
That's correct.
Now, how was Mr. Nigel Van Wyk supposed to know that money that he was receiving for his lawful activities that he was doing, you know, accounting for every receipt, providing it, accounting for it, and he even indicated that they even had a bookkeeper and an accountant. Everything was accounted for. As an employee who started working on at Olia Investment number 9CC on 1 November 2017, how was he supposed to know that money he's receiving is illicit or is illegal?
I will say that he should know. In the first place, Ola Investment is having its own main account. In Ola Investment, if they need an account on which they have to make payments from, there's nothing wrong for them to open such an account in the name of Olea. This account was opened in the name of their applicant.
And it's clear that you were not given information. Applicant testified that initially when he started, you see, there were no bank cards that he used. Money was for petty cash and for any other incidental occurrences was paid into his personal account. Whether it's for vehicle, fuel, and any other incidents. But later on, there were debit cards that were being used, and also motor vehicle, petrol cards that were introduced. All that information has been provided in these two files. And that's why I'm saying it's clear, it's a pity you are not given that information.
But still, even if there were no bank cards, he can still open an account on Olea Investment. And he can have signatory power on that account. He can operate an account.
If the members of the CC, being Mr. Saki Shangala and Mr. James Hatukulipi, deem it fit that petty cash or any money for any incidental activities, they will pay it in his bank account. And that is what they determined. And that's how things operated. And every cent was accounted for. What would be wrong with that, as long as the money is accounted for?
It is wrong if the money is coming from the illicit, if it is from a committing of an offense. Those are proceedings of crime. Those money were coming from Olea Investment. Those money were coming from Greyguard. And these are entities that were receiving money from Sameri.
Mr. Van Wyk testified that he was receiving money from Kambadara, Greyguard, and other entities that were owned and controlled by the members, and he was also doing some work, payments for those entities.
He was laundering the money, yes, for those
Mr.
entities.
Kanyangela, we outlined the rules of engagement. Please let me finish, and then I'll let you finish. He indicated, and even in these two files, there's some payments for Kambadara Trust. There's some payments for Greyguard. And also personal payments for Mr. Hatukulipi himself, which he was assigned as a lawful employee. Everything has been accounted for. It went through a bookkeeper and it went through an accountant. So, how is that concealing and disguising the origin? If you can explain.
Even if it was accounted, what I'm saying is that it was from a commission of a crime. It's a proceed of a commission of crime.
Mr. Kanyangela, from your own definition.
My Lord, may the witness be allowed to explain. The witness is asked the question, he's interrupted immediately. Inasmuch as my learned friend wants me to sit down, may he please be courteous to the witness and also follow proper rules of engagements for the court.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
My Lord.
Mr.
I'll just choose to ignore that objection, my Lord, because it's just derailing us. The witness finished, and that's when I went in. I know court etiquette.
Were you done, Mr. Kanyangela?
My Lord, I think I was done.
Okay. I'm glad that he indicated that he was done, so the objection was baseless.
You may proceed.
Now, so if every amount was accounted for, how? Then the definition of money laundering, you said disguising. Then it means nothing was disguised. Nothing was concealed.
To me, it was concealed.
How, if everything is accounted for, receipts are there, how the money was spent, whether it's petty cash, whether it's motor vehicle, service payments, whatever it is, everything has been accounted for.
I did not go through the files. And I don't know how the court goes through those payments, whether they took one deposit and break it down to say, okay, this deposit of 60,000, this is what was done. I did not go through the file, and I don't know how it was done.
But then now you are speculating. It's better to say you didn't go through. In fact, the things were not brought to your attention.
I did not go through. They were not brought to my attention.
These files were disclosed. That is a fact. So my point is, on the money laundering that you are talking about, you cannot prove any money laundering because from the definition, there was no disguising, there was no concealing. Everything has been accounted for. It falls short of the definition of money laundering.
I disagree.
Yes, you just disagree for the sake of disagreeing.
Yes.
But I put it to you that it's crystal clear as daylight. And I'll argue as such. There is no money laundering there.
You can argue it as
Yes.
such.
Whether you are not provided with these files, that is a weakness on your part. But the files were already disclosed long time ago. And we went through a laborious task of going through each payment.
I'm not disputing that they were not disclosed.
My Lord, I see it's almost 4 o'clock. It's opportune time to adjourn. I'll pick it up from tomorrow. Officer, can you give me my files?
Proceedings are adjourned to tomorrow. For continuation, that will be at 10 o'clock. Court adjourns.